And joining us right now in the MASN broadcast booth is the hero of last night, Ubaldo Jiménez. And Ubaldo, before we even talk about the pitching, I just want to ask you what it was like when Buck came up to you in the dugout and he gave you that little whack across the face with, when you were sort of like sitting in the back of the bench.
I guess that's a good sign. Every time he does that, it's because he had a good game.
That's good. Ubaldo, last night it seemed like I heard you in the post-game show, you were talking about how everything was working for you. What was the biggest difference in the feel of the baseball? What was it that really clicked for you last night?
I think as soon as I was in the bullpen, everything feels good. Everything felt really good. Like, compared to my last game in Tampa, I didn't have anything. My breaking balls didn't break. Split wasn't there. Fastball wasn't moving. But last night, as soon as I was in the bullpen, everything just clicked. I have a good mechanics. And whatever Caleb was calling out there, I was executing pretty good.
Well, you were definitely staying behind the ball a lot better than I've seen you so far this year. But a pitch last night you were throwing, the split finger fastball was incredible. Almost looked like you had a knuckleball. It had so much movement. So tell me about how that felt. What was going on?
It felt really good in the hand. I mean, the split is a feeling pitch. I mean, if you get a good feel for it that night, you just have to throw it down in the sun. And I mean, the hitters, it's gonna be really tough for them to get a hit out of that pitch.
How about the tempo of the game? Only a 9-pitch first inning. After the first inning, I mean, do you know you really got it going and it's going to be a good game the rest of the way?
Yeah, as soon as I threw the first pitch, I was like, it's going to be a good night because everything was down in the sun. Fastball was moving, and I was locating pretty good.
We've seen you a couple of times, Ubaldo, go out there and the fastball's all over the place. You can't seem to throw your split finger. I mean, it was incredible what you did last night. It was so much fun watching you, but it isn't like that all the time. I mean, what really goes crazy when you're not throwing the ball over?
Well, that's part of baseball, and I think that's part of life. Not everything gonna go the way you're expecting it to go, but for me, it's about getting a good feel of the ball, having my mechanic in place, and then hopefully that day I get to have all my breaking balls.
Now, Ubaldo, Caleb was a late replacement for Wellington Castillo right before the game started. How about the game that he called for you? What was it like?
It was a great game. It was an unbelievable game, especially like you say, he didn't even know he was playing. I know that before I went out, I was talking to Castillo, and then I saw Caleb that he wasn't even wearing his uniform. And then we went down. Castillo had that thing that when he almost sprained his knee. But and then coming into that game, I'm calling that game like everything. I didn't shake. I probably shake like 2 or 3 times. After that, it was Caleb. He called an unbelievable game, and then he got a couple good hits. So it was a great night for him.
Well, it was pretty easy to call a game like that when it doesn't matter what he calls, you throw it over. But I want to ask you a question. Today, we saw you running up and down the stairs. I don't think I've ever seen you do that before. Is that part of your workout?
No, that's part of my workout. I always do that.
How come I've never seen that before? Where have I been?
You're not here early enough.
Yeah, maybe you're too late.
I must be.
Hey, Ubaldo, how about the whole thing with Caleb and the target and all? It didn't seem like you had the leadoff batter and everything. You retired. You were way ahead of batters on the count. How much that plays into the game, the rest, batter by batter?
He has a pretty good target. I mean, it's really hard to miss that target that he put out there. But for us as a pitcher, you just have to execute every time. But our catches are good. It's just up to us to execute the pitches.
Well, Ubaldo, we appreciate you coming by, visiting us here in the booth. We really do.
Thank you.
I hope we see a whole lot more of what we saw the other day. That was really fun, Ubaldo. Congratulations. Keep it going.
Thank you very much.
Rick would still like to be catching if he could catch
I want to catch the guy. I want to catch him.